Chris, I was wondering if you could brag on Ross Stripling a little bit. Going tonight, 3-0 so far in the year. This is a guy that is constantly fighting for a spot in the starting rotation, but has really proven already to pay great dividends for you guys this season.
Yeah, he's been great. I think he does a great job of, mixing in all his pitches and getting ahead of hitters, working fast. And, as a defense, we appreciate that. And I think he's added a changeup that's been working really well for him this season. So, that's been a big addition to his arsenal. And I think his sliders got a little more depth on it, so that's been very effective. And, he's been outstanding for us. And, we're happy. I know he's been in a position where he's kind of gone from the bullpen to the starting rotation, but, he's been great for us as a starter. And I think, we're happy to have him on our team.
How would you describe this Padres team that you guys have seen so far this year? A little bit different in terms of perhaps more competitive this year than in years past.
Yeah, they're an exciting team. They have some good young players. They play with a lot of energy and passion. You can see from some of their guys like Tatis, and the new guy Grisham. They're definitely. We've had some really close games with them, and it's been a competitive back and forth series last time, and then that game yesterday. So, it's fun playing against them, and it's going to be a battle throughout the year, I think.
How has the lack of video use within the game affected your preparation at all, if it has?
Yeah, it's a little different. You don't have access to all the video stuff you might have had in the past with the angles, and it might be harder to study your swing and the mechanical side of that. We found ways to be able to do it without using like a community computer and stuff. But yeah, it's a little bit different, especially in game. If you in the past, you might be able to make some in-game adjustments or go back and look at video of your at-bats and see, what the pitcher's doing to you, or if you want to look at a mechanical thing in-game, you can, and that's not available now. So it's a little more like it reminds me of a minor league game. Going back, it's been a few years, but, we never had that available to us coming up in the minor leagues. And, you're instead of going and looking at every at bat you take, you just stay in the dugout and watch the game and trust what you feel.
Is there something a little freeing about that?
Yeah, I think it can be. It depends on how things are going for you at the time. Yeah, if you're grinding, there might be something you want to look at, but if things are going good and you're swinging it well, then yeah, it's kind of nice just to not have to nitpick at every little thing on video.
Great. Thank you, Chris.
Next question is from Dave Vassay. Go ahead, Dave.
Chris, do you feel like yourself and maybe some other players have had to shake off the rust of the start and stop and quick ramp up?
No, I think if anything, the extended off season probably helped a lot of guys. It allowed us to get some more strength and conditioning in, and I felt as good as I had before this season as I have in any season, and especially going through. I thought summer camp was very competitive, and we had some good inter squad games. All the pitchers looked pretty good, and built up. So everything's been pretty standard, I think.
From the hitting side, I don't know if you've seen this, but around the league, batting averages are the lowest they've been since 1968. Just curious if you feel like the hitters started out a little bit behind the pitchers in all this.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I don't have a guess at why that is. I did see that. It was surprising to me. I thought maybe the lack of fans and the lack of adrenaline might be an advantage to the hitters over the pitchers. But yeah, I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you why the numbers are down.
Thank you.
Next question is from Jorge Castillo. Go ahead.
Hey, Chris, just wondering, just as someone who plays different positions and has to get work in at those different spots, have the protocols, the limited time you can be at the ballpark affected your preparation in any way? And getting time at just different spots in terms of preparation for games?
I think we're probably here a little, I would say I'm here like an hour later than I would typically be. So you might just have to be a little more efficient with your work when you get here. Not as much hanging out and, not as much downtime. But overall, I feel like we have enough time to get everything we need to get in to prepare for the game that day. And, some of those days where, you might not be feeling good and you might want to come in earlier and, get an extra hour or two individual work in the cage or something. That's not available now. So that's the only thing I can think of where, you might not be able to get those long extended, sessions in like one-on-one that you would be in a past season. But, for the most part, I think we've been pretty efficient with our preparation, and I think everybody feels prepared for the game.
And offensively as a team, is there such a thing as being too home run reliant, you think?
Yeah, and I don't think we think about that as a team. I know we have our offense, we do produce a lot of runs via the homer, but, I think that's kind of an end result of, having good at bats and working counts and then them making mistakes. So, that's not something we really stress. We're just trying to make the pitcher work, have good at bats, and especially when you're facing some of those top end of the rotation pitchers, you're not going to be able to slug your way to a win every time. You're going to have good situational hitting and good at bats, and if you run into a couple, then great.
Thank you.
Next question is from Bill Plunkett. Go ahead, Bill.
Hey, Chris, if we went back 4 or 5 years ago and told you that your major league future was going to be as a super utility guy, how would you have reacted at the time?
Yeah, I was always a shortstop at heart, but if you told me I was a super utility guy for the Dodgers and we're, competing for a World Series every year, 5 years down the road, I'd probably be pretty happy. I'm definitely, I think everything's happened in my career for a reason that's led me to here. And, that I consider this place to be a home, and, I've definitely embraced that role now.
How long did it take you to make that mental adjustment?
17 was kind of my breakout year. And I think, I had to accept that if I wanted to be an everyday player, I knew I was going to have to play all over the field. We had guys like, obviously Corey Seager at shortstop, and, we had everyday players at position. So in order to get in the lineup, I had to accept that role.
Thanks.
Question from Rowan Kavner. Go ahead, Rowan.
Hey, Chris, this is kind of more abstract, but kind of along those lines. Do you feel like when you're comfortable in the field or playing somewhere that you're comfortable in the field, that can translate offensively as well? Or do you think the two aren't connected?
I think it can. I try to separate them. I think recently I haven't been swinging it quite as well as I want to, but, I try to build off of, I've been playing good defensively. So, it's two different sides of the ball. But, I think just the level of anxiety that comes with struggling on one side, and, we're humans. It can affect us on the other side as well, but we have to do our best to kind of separate the two and be where you're at the time.
And then kind of along the lines of that slow ramp up, were you surprised at all to see how good the pitching's been around the league? I mean, even on your team, you have guys like May throwing 99 and Kershaw's velo ticking up. And I mean, are you surprised at how ready the pitchers have been given how strange the break was?
For our guys, no, I'm not. I mean, we saw it firsthand in those inter-squad games, and I think a lot of those guys did the right things in the off season and probably used that extra time to their advantage. I know some of the guys were doing the driveline weighted ball program, and that has really helped them. So, just speaking of our pitchers, I don't think anybody's surprised. We know the talent we have, and they've definitely lived up to the hype.
Thank you.
We got one more question from Kerry Osborne. Go ahead, Kerry.
Hey, Chris, the in-game experience without fans is obviously pretty odd, but do you have a greater awareness of kind of the videos and the music, and is there a greater appreciation for that keeping the energy level up?
Yeah, I think it's actually been pretty good. Some of the games have still been exciting, and I think they've done a good job of implementing the crowd noise into the stadium and trying to keep the energy level up as much as they can. There's definitely some periods in the game where it feels like a practice game, and you kind of have to build that energy yourself in the dugout or on the field. But I think they've done just about as much as they could possibly do.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.